Okay, so today we're going to be going over how to put a South Plant ABB unit project into configure mode, effectively stopping the project and starting it. So from any of the EWSs, what you're going to want to do is open up ABB S Plus Engineering. Which takes a minute to load. From here you want to load the project that you're going to be stopping and starting, so you go to Projects, Project Admin. It's going to launch Control Engineering. For purposes of this test, we'll just load unit number 4. Once it's open the actual project, this screen down here will show an OK button that you can hit. You just scroll down here and you hit OK. Acknowledge that, and then you can go over here on the left and go back, go to Application Engineering and Control Engineering, so we can actually get into the project itself. You're going to want to expand this folder tree and expand the folder tree under L1:1, and then expand the Unit 4 PCU controller. And if you click on this controller, you can see the list of drawings and everything. There is a software lock in the control system that prevents the controllers from being put into configure mode or stopped. So we have to change that first and foremost, and you can do that by opening up this index01 executive block. It's going to be this first control logic underneath the configuration file. So we just double click this. And we're going to zoom in here. You can zoom in by clicking this and then just dragging, much like I did. And then we're going to go into monitor mode through the EWS P&I. Just hit OK. And it'll bring all our live values online, so we can actually see what's going on in the PCU. I'm going to zoom in further here. What we're concerned about is this NH above 0 speed. Pretty much what this does is just say that, hey, the unit is not at 0 speed, so it can't be put into configure mode. It's a software lock ABB put in. So we need to change that 1 to a 0. So in order to do that, we double click this INREF right here, and it'll take us to this logic diagram. And if we zoom in at this corner up here, and we go back into monitor mode, I'm going to hit no on monitor selected item only, we see this on-off switch. This is the actual configure lock that says, hey, it's not above 0 speed. Don't let the unit go into configure. So we need to double click on this block, and you can either just delete this and type a 0, or you can hit the enhance one and say output value set to 0, and you hit OK, then you hit apply, and you hit OK, and it's a 0. And if we go back to our first page, we can see that, hey, it's a 0 here. We can effectively go in and put this controller in configure. I'm going to close these out. I want to ask you if you want to save. You just say no. And then I'm going to close out our Automation Architect, which is just the program ABB uses to view the control logic diagrams. Now once that's done, you can right click on this controller number 2. And if you go to runtime and then go into mode, you can click this configure here, and it'll put the controller into configure. You'll get all of your alarms and everything. I'm not going to do it because they're actively working on South 4 right now, reinstalling a GG. And when you do this, it will enable the DC loop wall pump system because it sees a power fault, so it's going to run them preemptively to prevent any damage to the power turbine or GG. When you do click this configure, it may ask what system do you want to connect to. Much like when we went into Automation Architect, it should just say that EWS P&I. You just hit OK, and it'll run through that. When it goes in the execute mode, it'll say down here, effectively it's done. Give it 10 or 15 seconds, and then you can right click here again, go back into runtime, and go to mode, and hit execute. It'll ask, do you want to put the controller in execute? Something to that effect. You hit yes, and slowly everything on your unit screen will start coming back up. Everything, when you put it in the configure, all this will go pink. You'll lose all these values, and when you put it back into execute, all these values will start populating again. Once that's done, the controller is back in execute and running mode. You need to go back into here, and we need to put that software lock back in to prevent it from preemptively going into configure mode on its own. So you just go back here, zoom in, go into monitor mode, hit no, and then you just turn this on-off switch value back to a 1, turning the switch back on. Hit apply, hit OK, and close all this stuff out again. And then to close the project, you just go back, you go to projects, project admin, click on the project that you have open, and you just hit close right here. And it'll ask, do you want to close the project? You hit yes. And it takes a moment, and then once the project is closed, down here in the bottom it should say UP Unit 4 is closed. And there you go. You have successfully stopped and restarted the project for troubleshooting purposes, and good luck.